Hello, beautiful Scorpio, and welcome back to Mind, Body, and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for February 2020. I hope you are well, Scorpio. I'm gonna get to your reading. So this is a general reading. Okay. So this is a general reading for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. If it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, then it just doesn't. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Seems that you already have two cards popping out, which are the Five of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune as your current energy. Very well, Scorpio. Let's see where this is going. All right. Now let's see what's your challenge. The King of Wands as your challenge. Now let's see what's your focus for this month of February. The Nine of Pentacles is your focus. Now that's quite a shift. All right, now let's see what's your advice. The Four of Pentacles. This one showed up as I was pre-shuffling the cards before the video started. So interesting. As your advice. Good. Now let's see what's the future energy. Kind of what you're going to expect the end of the month. Ace of Cups. Well. Nice. And you have the Seven of Swords as the underlying energy, the theme of your reading for this month. Seven of Swords. This is an interesting card. It's really interesting energy. Well, I'm going to pull out the clarifiers before getting deeper into this. And this time I feel not really drawn to the other deck, so I'm just going to continue with this deck. Now let's see, why are these cards here? Okay, we have the Four of Wands with the Wheel of Fortune and the Five of Pentacles as your current energy. And it's the King of Wands here. The Three of Cups with the King of Wands as your challenge. The Ten of Cups with the Nine of Pentacles as your focus. The Six of Wands with the Four of Pentacles is your advice. Now what's coming in the future? Why is this Ace of Cups here? Why is this Ace of Cups here? There you go. Temperance. That's your future energy with the Ace of Cups. And the Queen of Cups with the Seven of Swords as the underlying energy, the theme of your reading. Okay, so my dear Scorpio, I think you may find yourself in the position where you're allowing your mind to expand beyond just the self. You know, you Scorpio can be quite strongly independent, and some people would say self-centered. I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying that, you know, your life experience had taught you that certain mechanisms and certain survival strategies work for you. You're quite clever. There's no doubt there. And you may have found yourself in the past in the situation where you had to maybe devise clever schemes in order to have your needs met. And I think that you should be grateful for that. Your mind worked for you to keep you alive. Now, sometimes we may not be fully proud of everything that we've done in the past, and that's perfectly fine, because this is how our mechanisms work in order to keep self-regulated. to not, like shame, for example, is a very good emotion to help us keep ourselves in check, to not go beyond certain thresholds and limits. Of course, actually, shame can be a very negative emotion if we hold on to it, if we're not allowing ourselves to feel it and let it go. It's just informing us on something. The thing is that we tend to hide it because it's very uncomfortable. Anyhow, with the Seven of Swords here, I think that, and especially with the Queen of Cups here, I think that your mind is finally growing out of a certain pattern. You are being informed by your own empathetic side that the self that you've been working so hard to protect so far is not just you. You know, we live in this illusion of the separate self. And though somehow accurate, because we are separate beings, we are having these boundaries of our own skin and of our own body and our own unique life experience and, say, unique energy signature that we carry. At the same time, we are part of a whole. We are all interconnected. No man is an island. And the Queen of Cups knows this. She is the whole embodiment of the universal consciousness, of the collective emotions. That's why she understands emotions so well. So I think that in this month of February, your mind is expanding in order to accommodate the extension of the self, understanding that you're not a separate self, understanding that you're part of an organism. We are all like cells in an organism. Yes, each and every cell has its own structure, but it functions as part of a whole. And in order for an entire organism to function, each and every cell needs to find its purpose, because a certain cell is not supposed to do the job of another cell. It's supposed to serve its purpose. So do figure out that I said, pay attention, I said serve its purpose. So we are here in order to be of service, finding our own gifts, finding our own uniqueness. So it is okay to embrace what makes us unique, but that only is important and relevant in the bigger picture of serving our purpose into this bigger organism, which is the whole humanity, if you want, but it's larger than that. It can be all the living beings, or it's even larger than that, and say the whole consciousness of this entity called Earth, which is a planet that basically stays in itself in this solar system, and because of it being part of a bigger organism, which is the solar system and the sun and the distance between planets and gravity and all that. Okay, I'm going quite far with this. My point is to paint that picture that Earth in itself is a living being, and we're just part of it. Earth grows humans. Is not just a rock. All the life, all the food that we eat goes from the earth. We die as we die, whether we are the human beings or the animals or anything that comes to life, dies afterwards to return back into the earth and serve again as fertilizer for the new life to come. And that's just the physical aspect that we can see, not to mention the soul's journey and our evolution of consciousness as a whole. And I think this is something that it's quite advanced, Scorpio. This is not for somebody that just heard about spirituality and is trying to live in canons and trying to just have a good life and make sure they don't have bad karma in order to just live a happy life. This is not about this, and I think you get it this month, if not much earlier. You are aware of this truth. You are becoming aware of it at a very personal and intimate level. So your mind is finally starting to make space for this deep, clear perception at feeling level, at emotional level, that you are bigger than yourself. You are bigger than your ego. You are bigger than the human being that you find yourself to be, the narrative that you tell yourself, and you are deeply connected to the whole organism that is actually the entire universe. It's that whole fractalic thing that whatever it's inside you, then you are part of a bigger and bigger and bigger system that has very similar, if not identical type of attributes. Okay, and you have the Five of Pentacles with the Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Wands as your current energy. The Five of Pentacles talks about exactly this feeling of isolation, the feelings that we are a separate self, more than that, that we are a separate self that had been abandoned, that had been rejected, that had been betrayed, that had been let down by everyone in their lives, by their institutions, by everyone, by society at large. And that part of ourselves, the part of the consciousness that you carry with you is there. This is an illusion, but at the same time is not an illusion. I'm not here to tell you that you're deluded, that your sensation of your experiencing of this is wrong or fake or unreal. It's very real to you because part of you is there, allowed by your mind, because that's kind of how your life experience worked. You found yourself in this physical situation and again, and of course your ego mind creates like the lower mind, the mind of the animal being that is processed by this like container that you find yourself in. Takes the conclusion that this is true, and it is true for you. It's a relative truth, right? But because this month you are allowing this expansion of your mind, you worked hard enough on yourself and to connect with your own energy and with your I don't know, receiving the information from something larger than yourself. And because you're meeting this with, you're expanding your compassion, you're expanding your sense of connectedness with the Wheel of Fortune. I think that you're really expanding yourself out of this place. And look where it's taking you. So that's great. So this theme might appear for you, and it's not a nice one to feel when we feel separated, when we feel disconnected, when we feel abandoned, when we may have the hard evidence for that because it's Pentacles. Maybe you find yourself literally alone. Maybe you find yourself with very scarce resources, and so on. But the Wheel of Fortune is right there with this card, as is the Four of Pentacles, the Four of Wands. And Four of Wands talks about having the spiritual structure now, having seen your own progress and having understood what belief system and value system works for you. You had connected already to a deeper wisdom. And you see, this Five of Pentacles is really very well sustained by this holding space that you've created with this very very foundation that you created, and with the knowledge of impermanence and the knowledge of expansion of consciousness. This is Jupiter energy, the Wheel of Fortune, so there's obviously expansion. And we have Jupiter in Capricorn. Capricorn does deal with survival fears and the survival, the need for recognition, and the whole this aspect of public image, how we're seeing ourselves relative to the context, to the bigger context, and how do we see how others see us, or how we think others see us, really. The thing is that this part of you that is feeling like this needs to be let in to the whole, let in to this whole system that is you. This is only part of you, and it needs integration. You can integrate this part by allowing yourself to feel it first, by allowing yourself to, by not telling it what to feel. Okay, this part of me feels in this way, fine. I'm here. I'm here with you. I'm here to feel it. I'm here to listen. I'm here to let it be. Because when that means integration, that means letting this part of me know that it's okay to be, and it will relax slowly, slowly, and it will learn by itself that it is welcomed in the whole. Okay, this may sound a little bit critical for some of you, but this reading is really not for everybody. I feel it's very specific for somebody who has a certain level of understanding and knowledge already. See, there's a lot of knowledge here. Look at all these entities here carrying books, and look at these things here holding the sword, one sword. That means mental clarity and higher knowledge. This is much higher knowledge. So this is actually really, really good for you, because it is, in order for us to grow spiritual, in order for us to heal our deepest wounds, it means to become aware of our wounds and feel them, and really, really allow them to, really allow them to come into awareness. The only way we can heal them is by being aware of them. And our emotions, those feelings of isolation, are informing you that there's a part of you that is isolated, that you are not connecting with. That's the deepest wound. But it's I mean, I don't need to convince you of this. You know that this is good for you based on what the cards are telling me here. You know quite well. Now, the King of Wands and the Three of Cups as your challenge. Maybe you have troubles. You have troubles connecting with the people around you from this place of full empowerment and full awareness. The King of Wands is very aware, is very grounded. He's somebody who can take a lot of risks, knowing not necessarily that he cannot fail, but he's going to be okay no matter if it fails or not. That's why he can, he's a good gambler, for example, and he can gamble everything and he can lose and he's still going to be okay. That's why he's so confident. He's aware that he can take care of himself no matter what. And with the Three of Cups obviously talks about connecting with other people, that sort of happy gathering where we are all benefiting from that type of relationship. But in order to come into a relationship or into a friends gathering in this way within a soul tribe, we need to own our shit. It means we need to become aware of our wounds, and we need to become aware of how that we are safe to carry those wounds, and we are able to tend to them, and we're not expecting other people to neither heal us nor save us nor anything. The truth is that nobody outside of ourselves will ever save us. The soul tribes that we find ourselves in, these people are coming into our lives to maybe support us or to inspire us or to share with us their own journeys and love and compassion. But they're not going to save us. Nobody can. we can save ourselves, because we are all these King of Wands actually deep down inside. We just need to dig deep enough to find it. And I think that you're definitely going there, because this Five of Pentacles is what prevents you to really embody this energy of the King of Wands, this full awareness that you are safe, and that it's okay to be playful, and that it's okay to risk, and that it's okay to show yourself fully in your relationships, in the connections in your life, in or each and every aspect of yourself, in the actions that you put into the world, that will not come from being protected or vindictive or angry at the world, but from full acceptance of the imperfection of oneself and the imperfection of other people, that comes from the very nature of our being and the human experience. We're not meant to be perfect. We are meant to heal our wounds and to grow and expand its consciousness and connect from this place of loving awareness, loving connection, supportiveness, and creativity, allowing ourselves to tap into creativity. Now, the focus for you this month is the Nine of Pentacles with the Ten of Cups. And can you see this, like this amazing jump between the Five of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles? The Nine of Pentacles is literally the opposite. And actually this is very interesting, because this does feel very Scorpionic. I don't know if necessarily in tarot is considered to be Scorpio energy. But this whole feeling of abandonment and betrayal and separation, it's something that Scorpio archetype in general had experienced deeply. And it's one of the core wounds of the Scorpio archetype. And this seems to be like the opposite. This is the being really secure in oneself, being very connected to the inner strength, and having, again, that full confidence that one is okay, but being in sync with time and allowing for the cycles to take their own time and divine timing and all that. Being confident in one's own hard work and the benefits of that. So this is almost like the opposite sign of Scorpio is Taurus, and Taurus is all about standing on your own feet, in a full independence and full capacity to take care of oneself, especially financially, for example, or that type of more earthly abundance. And I think this is your focus, because this is what you need to reconcile, these two opposites. Obviously there's a part of you that can feel like this every once in a while. We're never only one aspect. We always embody the both aspects of two extremes. They just need to meet at the middle. That's when we make the connection. That's when it's like creating a neural pathway. It's like two separate neurons, or in this case, two opposite ideas and neurons meet somewhere, and they create this link. That means that it embodies everything in between. Right, and this is everything in between here, the Five of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. From isolation and feeling scarcity and poor and abandoned, to standing in one's own power, in one's own garden, with one's own value. And again, to reinforce this, the Ten of Cups is bringing that feeling of joy and happiness that comes from understanding that one is complete. You see, this is like a completeness, that the whole picture of what does it mean to feel complete, with the two aspects of oneself, the yin and yang, being together and balancing each other out, with the inner children being out there playful and being considered, again, the feminine, the masculine, the mature mind, with the groundedness of the body and the emotions. They present to me right now the more emotional side and playful side of ourselves. This is the big picture of happiness that it's just a story like everything else, but it's that type of story that we can relate to. Yes, it's a happy family with children. That's not the point. The point is that this is all aspects of yourself being in full balance. And I think that this part of you that feels isolated here simply needs to be let known that, first of all, it's okay to be, and you tend to it with loving compassion, and you're like, it's like nursing somebody back to health. It's like nursing somebody. You're nursing yourself here with loving compassion, letting yourself know that you are part of this much greater entity, that you are never alone, really, that you are connected with everything there is. And you really are. We really are. We just, our minds doesn't let us realize this because we are so self-obsessed most of the time. But we literally are interconnected. This is how everything works. In Buddhism, there's this term called interdependent co-arising. That means that we all depend on each other, but we're standing on our own feet. We are functioning well as a cell, and we are depending on each other for this organism to work. Only one cell is not going to keep an organism alive. So this is focus not to deny the part of you that feels isolated, but to let that part of you know that everything is fine, that you are okay now. No matter when you felt abandoned, you got over that. That wound that you carry needs nursing from compassion, not from pushing it away, not denying it, not telling it what to feel, none of that. It comes from radical acceptance and radical compassion. These are terms from Tara Brach, which is a spiritual teacher and a psychologist. And she has some great, amazing talks and retreats and all that. Look her up. She has a very good technique that one can use at any time. It's called the rain meditation, which just look it up if you're interested. But I just wanted to mention where those, they're not patented terms necessarily, but they are very important terms. Radical compassion, radical acceptance. I think that's the key to our evolution of consciousness and integration of the self into the oneness, the wholeness of our being, and then the wholeness of outside of ourselves. Okay, your advice though. So this is kind of where your focus needs to be, but your advice is more action oriented. What can you actually do right now in order to tend to this wound and allow your mind to grow in the direction that it needs to grow? And I think you're required to take a step back. This is the Four of Pentacles. This is the Five of Pentacles, right? Take a step back and understand and come back to the awareness that you actually are okay. You actually have the foundation, the physical foundation. You are not as poor or as isolated as you think you are. Okay, this person here, he looks a little bit like he's holding on to this fortune that he amassed a little bit too hard. And it's important to look at what you're getting yourself attached to. What are you being too attached to? And that's important because you have the Wheel of Fortune here, which talks exactly about everything is impermanent and doesn't make sense to attach ourselves too hard on anything. And with the Six of Wands, I think that you are being reminded that you've done a lot of work. You have the Four of Wands, which says exactly the same thing, but the Six of Wands is taking it deeper and showing it to the world. Allowing yourself to come out into the world with full pride of your achievements, and you take stock of them. You do have the foundation. You are not stranded out into the streets. You're not as alone as you think you are. You are not. It's okay for you to hold your ground and to go out there and explore a little bit. The Five of Wands, the fives are generally actually a card of growth. We need to grow out of the four, otherwise this is stagnation, right? And we can hold ourselves back by feeling too afraid to make the step forward. But the fives can feel very insecure because we don't really know where we're growing. We're just created that stability of the self, of the separate self, or our perception of the self. In Jungian psychology, I think Jung says, and I'm paraphrasing here, I'm not great at memorizing quotes and stuff, but I think Jung says something like, on our childhood up until we become mature, we are cultivating the separate self. We're cultivating this feeling of the self, and then the rest of our lives is to come back to the wholeness, come back to decondition the self, if that makes sense, and to come back to the whole. At least that's my understanding of that. And I think that, you take this step back, you understand that you are safe, you are secure, you've secured your part of this world, and you're fine, and it's okay for you to go into the six, to go out there and to grow spiritually, to grow, to come into service and share to the world how you've how your journey has been, how you matured yourself through the exploration of the self, to the exploration of the dark side, of the fear side and all that, and how you grew out of here as well, all the way to here. This Nine of Pentacles is here as your focus because you can embody this. This is not something that's foreign to you. You had been independent in your life and you carry that energy with you. If you feel that loneliness right now is a problem, come back to that place where aloneness is something that's really joyful, sometimes to the point of isolation as well, but that's a completely different topic. This is the card of independence, and this is the card of codependency and fear and abandonment, right? I think you need to recognize this part of you and put that into the world, because that's part of you just as much. This nice lady here, to this part of you that feels like, I feel like these are the children there, the lost inner children, and allow this lady to nurture this part of you, nurture it back to health, nurture it back to feeling the belonging, feeling that it's really belonging within you. This can really be like some aspects of your shadow that you never liked of yourself, and now it feels completely isolated and outside of the everything. It is safe for you to go there. You have the most supportive energy here for that. And you do have the foundation. The Four of Wands and the Four of Pentacles talk about having the foundation of the self. It's okay to go a little bit outside and to connect to this higher calling from within, of the Queen of Cups, of compassion, and to accommodate this energy of the King of Wands, which, again, we all have all these energies within ourselves. Sometimes we can access them, sometimes we cannot. It is challenging for you to access this King of Wands here, but this advice will help you to connect with this place, because that will allow you to remember with the Four of Pentacles that, again, you are safe. You have the physical resources. Okay, even if you find yourself, for example, in financial difficulty, you can zoom out a little bit and realize that, first of all, that's not the end of the world. It's okay to ask for help, or to not have it all figured out, and you are able to care for yourself. You need to just find your inner resources. And it's a good reminder also to recognize kind of how far you've gone, how important your life journey had been to learn a lot of lessons and grow spiritually and be recognized by everyone else. Recognize your own achievements here, and also know that, as long as you have a shelter, you don't sleep in the streets, as long as you have, I know, access to internet and a device to see this reading through, as long as you have fresh water, clothes, and food on your table, you're doing better than most of the population on this planet, actually. We are a rarity. This is not the norm. We just think this is the norm because we stay in our bubble. And we get attached to an idea of how life should be. So it's a good thing. This is not about checking privilege, even though that's always very helpful if it doesn't come from a condescending place. This is not the condescending, like, check your privilege type of discourse. This is really checking in with where you really are, so that you don't get lost in the illusion of separate self and the illusion of abandonment and the illusion of the scarcity, because we are still quite abundant. Okay, and the future energy, the Ace of Cups of Temperance. Well, that's fantastic, because the Ace of Cups talks about this type of rebirth, and that's your signature move, Scorpio, rebirthing. An opening of the heart, that transformative opening of the heart that can allow you to bring this temperance into your heart. Like, see, this angel here has this fire sign right on its heart chakra. It's encompassed in this square, which talks about force. It's the structure. You create the space for your heart to open up and shine because you are safe. You discover this feeling of safety. You discover this connectedness with the whole. You see your cup, which in this case can mean your emotional body, is finally feeling at ease, and you connect with this master. The Queen of Cups is the master of her suit, the feminine energy, which is the keeper, the influencer, the nurturer, the universal mother archetype, and you are nourished by this, and your heart is opening, and you connect with everything. You're overpouring with love, and that love is connected to the universal consciousness. And here the Temperance card, this angel is pouring water from one cup to another, holding a foot on the ground and a foot in the water. It's allowing two different elements to come together, like what I was saying here, with these two opposites coming together and finding that meeting point. That is temperance. That is it's like alchemy. It's actually, temperance is the alchemist. See, he's like a scientist who's like playing with these cups and figuring out, okay, so if I put a little bit of water here from this to that, what's going to happen? How studying, almost having that detachment, but still the open heart, the space in the heart, that that what you're working with here is for the greater good, is from the place of loving compassion, and your heart beats from loving compassion and loving awareness. Oh, you're safe. This is Sagittarius energy. This is Sagittarius energy too, with the Wheel of Fortune, because it's Jupiter, its expansion is the ruler of Sagittarius. I think I perceive this as Taurus energy. This is Leo energy, but can be any fire sign really. And this can definitely be your energy. The Queen of Cups, it's water, is the master of the water suit. So master sounds masculine, whatever. Yeah, well, the signs are really not that important. The signs don't own the cards. So it's a beautiful, beautiful month of heart opening and expansion of your mind and of consciousness, and bringing back into yourself a part of yourself that had been abandoned and had been isolated, and coming back into your full awareness of your strength, that can bring back your full confidence, being able to connect with people from that amazing place of feeling whole. Not that I need anyone else to complete me. All right, I'm gonna pull a card from Rumi and see what is the message from the heart, wisdom, universal heart. And this is divine discontent, number 12. It's a 3. I'm just going to read the guidance because it's a really long read. And the poem from Rumi says, winter falls upon us, so spring can bring new growth. Cry the tears, allow the longing. Sadness brings surrender and deep desire to be free. This is a card of freedom, though. You're not stuck in one place. You go out there and explore, and yes, it feels scary, but you're allowing yourself growth that leads to the 6 of Pentacles, which is abundance and kindness, sharing that. There is a sense within you that perhaps quite obvious to your conscious mind, or perhaps only dimly registered as an unnameable underlying sense of anxiety, that something in your life is not quite right. It may be the sense, even amongst so much gratitude, of a yearning yet to be met, a longing yet to be fulfilled and satisfied. This is the pain of the awakening heart. That heart is capable of bliss and ecstatic reverence for the sheer beauty and wonder of creation. Okay. It is the pain, the real noble pain of the heart, that says there is something more in this inadequacy, this settling for plastic instead of precious gemstones, that must end now. I cannot be fed by pixelated sunsets in animation upon my computer screen. I yearn to be blasted by so much radiance and beauty, by the real thing, that I become stupefied. This Ace of Cups. And so shall it be. The discontent divine growing within you is the beginning, not the destiny. Its purpose is to lead you into your greatest connection yet with divinity. Do not resist it, witness it. Do not dismiss it, trying to cover up its smell with rose petals. This is that divine discontent that you feel. Let your rank discontent be the pathway to divinity. Look beyond what is, what has been prized and treasured, and is now found to be plated and not precious gold it was once esteemed to be. Don't be scared. Yeah, sorry, it interrupted there. So don't be scared, for you're not alone. That was the end of it. This divine discontent, whatever fear you may be feeling here, whatever feeling of isolation, whatever feelings that you're not comfortable with, that's only there because you are able to feel it now and to not settle with it, but to learn to feed it, to nurture it, to bring it back into the whole. That's the main message for you, Scorpio. I hope it makes sense to you. If it does, please like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, I'm really inspired by your journey here, and I wish you all the best for this month of February. May our practice benefit all beings, and I'll see you here next month.